You can't really complain that they don't know what they're doing. They're not learning fast enough. They don't have the commitment. They don't have the work ethic. If you've never taken the time to actually show them the right way to do it. What am I talking about? Keep watching. Let's get to work.
You an entrepreneur, I got what you need.
Hey there, my love. It's me, CP. Welcome back. If you are new here, welcome to CPTV. This is the place that you want to be if you are an entrepreneur pursuing the journey of starting or growing your business. And ultimately, I'm going to give you all the strategies, the tips, the tools, the processes, the systems to help you get there so that you can achieve entrepreneurial freedom, which is what we all want, right? So if you like that and you're just stopping by for the first time, make sure you subscribe, that you hit that notification bell to be notified every Tuesday and every Friday when we have a new CPTV episode, because I am in the game of helping you scale your business, grow your business, and achieve entrepreneurial freedoms, financially, lifestyle-wise, decision-making, dress code, all the good stuff. So let's dive right in. So we're talking about onboarding and onboarding your employees, how important it is. Well, I just want to give you a perception, a kind of an overall view of what onboarding is like in the real world comparison, right? Onboarding your employees is like the first impression. And I want you to think about first impressions and what they mean to you as an individual. Imagine the first time you're going on a date with someone that you finally mustered up the courage to actually ask out or say yes to going out with. You spend all of that time with your nerves trying to pick out the perfect thing to wear, make sure that you look your best. Guys, you guys are shaven. Women, you're out there getting your hair done. You're doing all of these things. You might even be practicing and rehearsing your lines and your conversation that you're going to have over dinner because you want to make a good first impression.
I just want to say, what I'm trying to say is, there are many women floating in the river, but you're the only one I want to stuff and stick over 'em on my wall over the fireplace.
Thank you so much.
And the reason why you want to make a good first impression is because you want the other person to like you. You want them to value you. You want them to be interested in you. You want them to affirm your worth in that particular relationship and interaction. Well, it's no different for a new employee or for you as a business owner. Your onboarding process when you're bringing in new hires is that first date. It's that first impression. And so you cannot screw it up. And I'm getting ready to tell you exactly what you need to do to make sure that it works out well, that it does right, and that it gets your relationship off on the right foot. So let's get into the 5 critical action items that are required in a effective and high performing, high converting employee onboarding process. The relationship that you have with your employees is going to guide how hard they work for your organization. It's going to guide the type of work that they do, their commitment levels, their work ethic. It's all going to be guided from that first impression. But I'm going to do one better for you because I'm going to go over some detailed information in a very short period of time. I'm going to also give you my free checklist with your onboarding process and the timeline that you need to follow. So all the stuff that I'm going to talk to you about today, there's actually going to be a free checklist. I said it. I'm giving it to you for free down below for you to access. So if you are in the process of hiring employees or you're getting ready to start hiring, you have no idea what onboarding includes because it's more than just orientation. Make sure that you go down in the description below, click the show more button, click on the link, and it will actually take you directly to my website where you can download that all important checklist. So don't forget to grab it. It's going to be a lifesaver. So let's dive into these 5 action items. So action number 1. This first action, or the series of actions, I should say, should actually take place between you making the offer leading up to the actual start date of the employee. So this first set of stuff, that's the time frame from offer to first day. Now, oftentimes you're in a situation where you have to make an offer to someone and you might say something like, can you start on Monday? And it happens to be Friday. I'm going to caution you against doing that. That doesn't allow for enough prep time for you to actually set the stage right for that all-important first date. So if you can avoid rushing it like that, please by all means do. If you can't avoid it, then you're going to have to do what entrepreneurs do and buckle down and work your ass off for the next couple of days. Because just because you shorten the timeline doesn't mean the date shouldn't be set properly. So here's the things that you've got to make sure you get set up in this first action, number one, from offer to start date. You've got to maintain open communication with your new hire, and you've got to make sure that they have the contact information that they need for you or for the HR contact at your employee group, at your employer group at your business, just in case questions come up, changes come up, or things come up. This is a great time to actually put some type of electronic onboarding, maybe email sequence or series of emails together where you can actually start to prep the employee and inform them of what's going to happen prior to their actual start date, and make sure that the time, the place, what they need to bring with them, all of those things are in place for that prior to first start date. So maintaining communication is absolutely critical. You are also going to want to use that time frame to discuss what the initial period of employment is and what probation requirements are. And so you want to make sure that you kind of talk about that. Well, your first 2 weeks are going to be training, or your first 2 weeks is going to be intensive training, and then following that, you're going to have 4 weeks of 1 day a week in the fields type of training. Just kind of set the stage so that they know how to mentally prepare themselves, but so that they also have an opportunity to get their personal schedules and expectations with their friends and family in line. That's important, because if you don't set the stage and tell them what to expect, they can't get everybody else on board. And so they need to be able to have that time to talk to their spouse, to talk to their girlfriend or boyfriend, their kids, their parents, whoever else may need to adjust to the fact that they are now employed at a new place, or maybe it's the first place, and there's certain expectations that they have to meet in order to be successful there. Now, you're also going to want to take it a step further and shift from the outside person, because those two things are important, the person who's actually coming on board, to the employees that you already have or the people that are already on board. This is the time for you to actually advise them and inform them that someone new is starting and that you filled a new position. You want to use this opportunity to let them know who the person is, give them a little bit of background about the person that you discovered during your interviewing process, not necessarily saying shoot an email message out with the person's resume, but a paragraph in an email about the person that's joining the team, when their expected start date is, and who they're actually going to be working with initially, and even going so far as to share with them what their initial onboarding schedule looks like in case the person who's actually receiving the communication is involved. So you want to make sure that everybody on your team knows that someone new is coming on board with some info, and then the specific people who are involved in the onboarding process know what's going to be happening and know what the schedule looks like. And then you want to use this time to get all of your paperwork together, all of your onboarding new hire paperwork, your onboarding checklist done. Use this time before they start to get all the manuals prepared, all that kind of good stuff, so that you can make sure that you're all ready to go for that first day. So set of actions number 2 in the second category, this really should happen up to 2 weeks prior to that start date. Now, again, we talked in the beginning about setting aside enough time. So I like to say give yourself 2 weeks. But if you can't give yourself 2 weeks, then you're going to have to do all of this stuff within whatever time frame you've given yourself. So just buckle up and get ready for the ride if you didn't give yourself at least a week to have somebody start. But within that 2 weeks, you got to make sure that your new employee has their workspace set up.
This gangster here was a smart one. Started living for the Lord and I last. Now all I got to say is you wanted, you're gonna be crumb snatching, coochie eating pranksters.
That their desk is ready for them, that their computer and telephone extensions have been set up, that their appropriate materials, any equipment, that their computer has been cleaned off from a previous employee who has actually been set up with all the stuff that they're going to need.
Oh, look at this workstation. What a complete slump.
Just basically getting all of their stuff ready for them. There is nothing worse than being a new employee. You've probably had this experience. If you haven't, I hope you never have to. But you're a new employee, you go to sit down in your workspace and you realize that the person that was there before you is still there. Right? Because nobody took the time to even make sure that you had access to your computer and that at least when you log in, it says your name. So those are the types of things that you want to make sure that are those nice little touches to make that first date go really, really well. You also want to make sure that those who are in charge of setting up your IT at your company, whether it's you or you outsource that, is aware that a new person is going to be started and needs to be implemented and added as a user in all of those systems. There is a lag time that can take place if you don't do this prior to their first day. So you want to get someone trained on your customer service system or your CRM, but they're not even listed in there as a user. So it takes a whole half a day while they're already started to get them into the system. So they're just sitting around piddling their thumbs. Well, guess what that creates? That creates the perception and the habit that you can lackadaisically take care of things around here. And when you don't have them, it's not a big deal. So you're kind of communicating things in that first date that you don't want them to mimic. So you want to make sure that they're in all the systems and that IT has been given the request to get everything set up for them. You also want to make sure that if there's any kind of office that you have, office space that you have for them to come to, that the building, if there's, keys to get into the building or parking passes or whatever the case may be, keys, I think I said that twice. But anyway, whatever it is, make sure that those are all ready to go so that during that initial conversation on their first day, you can give them access to the building right away. You also want to confirm any trainings that they've got scheduled or that they're going to need scheduled, especially if you've made arrangements with vendors or outsourced people to actually train them on systems that you utilize. It's great to actually schedule demos with people, those vendors, and then just kind of schedule those things out as needed. So you want to make sure you confirm all of those dates and times so that you can continue to put that onboarding and orientation schedule together so that when that person first starts, you can review it with them and they know what their first 2 weeks are going to look like exactly. And then you want to make sure that they've got time scheduled with you, the CEO, the president, so that you can actually be a part of that orientation process. Just depending upon the size of your business, you might be the only person that they need to meet with. But if you've got other people that are kind of running departments or leading things, they're going to be involved in their orientation process, but nothing is going to have the same impact as you, the CEO, the president, actually taking the time to come in, meet with that new employee, and actually spend time with them during that orientation meeting. Maybe you're the one that actually gives them the spiel on why the company was founded, the vision for the company, the direction that the company is going in, and share some successes and some failures, and just really get to know them, but also let them know how your leadership style is, your management style, how you kind of like to work and do business, and that you have an open door policy. Whatever it is that you need to do to introduce them to you as the leader of the organization, make sure you take the time to do it. So get it on your schedule in this action item 2 checklist. So set of action items number 3 are all things that actually happen on the very first day. It's going to be an action-packed day for them, and you want to make sure that you've got their entire onboarding schedule mapped out and reviewed. Well, this is day 1 stuff. You want to make sure that you personally greet them when they're there. Do not have them show up for work and your administrative assistant taking care of them, which means that if you know they're starting at 9 o'clock on Monday, don't schedule any meetings, any conference calls, any webinars during that time. You want when they arrive for you to be able to go right with them and sit them down and get them going in the right direction. You also want to take the opportunity to familiarize your new employee with the role and function of HR, who it is, communicate, this is your manager, this is your supervisor, make sure that they have been introduced to other people of your team, give them a tour of the office, or have everybody jump on a digital call or an online call if you're an online virtual-based business, and say hello to that employee so they can see faces with names. And then you're also going to want to make sure that they have an idea of who their mentor is going to be, that go-to person when they've got questions, when they need to vent, when they need to kind of feel things out a bit. Pick someone on your team, even if that's you, to be their go-to and make sure that they've had that introduction take place. And then there's also an orientation checklist that you want to just kind of take step by step and follow through that will actually walk you through gathering the necessary new hire paperwork, getting them into any systems, getting them into their workspace, taking them to lunch. There's like this whole thing. So yes, follow that as well. And that all happens on day 1. And the 4th set of action items. This time frame is actually over their first 1 to 2 weeks on the job. This is where orientation turns into onboarding. And this includes completing their initial trainings on the systems and their processes, and begin to transition into their role. So their first week should be all training focused. Day 1 is basic HR introductions. Day 2 is, customer resource management get systems demo training. And that's when you have those vendors come in or get on the phone and actually walk them through how to utilize things. Maybe you have an entire online library of trainings that you want them to actually go through and watch. This is the time frame to get all of those done, as well as all of their process trainings that they need to understand about your standard operating procedures and get them trained up on all of those things. You're also going to want to do field work and shadowing during the first 2 weeks. And that means assigning them to working with you if you're the one that was previously doing the job that you're hiring them for, or to another employee that's doing the same job that you're actually hiring them for. Make sure that they're shadowing them and that they're actually seeing it, because we all know that the way people learn isn't just from hearing things, it's also from seeing things and from doing things. And so shadowing, walking them through all the processes that they've heard and actually showing them how to get those processes done is going to be critical in those first 2 to 3 weeks as well. And then also you want to make sure that they've had some time to spend with whomever is in charge of various things at your organization. So if you've got a lead person that's over marketing, a lead person that's over service, a lead person that's over sales, schedule some time for them to spend an hour with that person learning what their job entails. It really helps people wrap their role around the entire organization and say, what does what I do, how does it affect sales? What does what I do, how does it affect marketing? And how does it affect service? And how does it affect billing and operations? By spending some time with each person that does that, you're going to give them some really good insight into how important their job is. The second thing you want to do is, if that person is you and this is your first hire or this is your 5th hire and you were the person doing it right before, then you make sure that they spend time with you in that role, so that they can understand what you've always done when it comes to marketing, and they can see and they can get an idea of what they're going to ultimately be taking over, or how their role interacts with what it is that you're talking about doing. So that's a huge part of the first 1 to 2 weeks as well. And so I've got one CP impact tip that I've got to give you guys that's kind of outside of the scope, but it's just as critically important. And that is, during the first 4 weeks of someone's start, at least 1 day per week, make sure that they've scheduled at least a field or a shadowing day. And that's important for somebody else on the team who's already doing the job, who previously did the job, or maybe it's with you. You want to spend the first 4 weeks having them do the work with you. So you're going to have them listen and watch doing the work. You're going to have them actually doing the work and participating and watching you do it. And now this is an opportunity for you to watch them do it in action, so that you can provide them with feedback, help them tweak the way that they do things. You'll see their time management processes and procedures. You can coach them through those things. And so that's really important, at least 1 day per week, I would say, for their first month. It could be longer depending upon how rapidly they learn things, but usually 4 weeks is enough time for you guys to really get into the thick of doing their job together. And then ultimately it gives them an opportunity to ask you questions as well. And it limits those got-a-minute meetings that can interrupt your day and distract you. So don't forget, go get that checklist that summarizes everything that I just went over with you. Actually gives you a step-by-step orientation program as well as the timelines. Grab it. It's free. It's yours. Don't forget to go and implement this stuff. And don't forget to give me some love. Like this video. Give me a comment. Just say kick butt CP, you rock CP, you the bomb CP, whatever you want to put in there. Please let me know. I'm craving some feedback. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And until next time, mwah!